Right, so
So you want to come on this
what
side?
type of people you go say we is according to the Bible? Christian people, right? I mean, like in terms of religion, not religion, but in terms of like, you know, white man know he's a white man, African know he's African, right? The Indians know there's Indian people, wherever it is, right? What type of people we is? Negroes, right? And what type of people you say we is? Say we is Negroes, right? But in the Bible, everybody have a nationality, right? So that means we have to have a nationality and all too, right? Because we history only going back to when slavery was, right? So it means that if we follow this world, I mean we didn't exist before slavery, right? But how did it know we exist in order to come and capture we and put we in slavery? And we had was to exist before in order to know, well, I could go to this land, get them people and them and put them into slavery, right? Making sense, right? So Mosai give we a nationality, and the reason why we don't know who he is because we have a curse on we, right? Mosai tell you that we will know who he is according to the Bible. Right? The man put this thing on, right? That's for the Indians and them, right? They could go back to India, right? Chinese man and them, they buy a plane ticket and go back to China. And those call people were black people, right?
Yeah.
Not so? Right, what's the color of your pants? And what's the color of your skin? Skin, man? What color your skin is? So how you a black man and your skin though? When I put this phone case next to your hand, right? It's the same color or different? It's the same. So how come you black? If I give you money right now, you could go on the airport and buy a ticket to black. A Chinese man could buy a ticket and go back to China, right? You can take money and buy a ticket to black, right? But that don't exist nowhere on the world map, right? So then how you black? So our country does get its name after the people that live in there, right? Like China, they name it after the Chinese, and then India name after the Indians, right? And so forth, right? Then you go to the Bible itself. So bring on Romans 11 and 1. Because we people know a lot of things, right? But the only thing we don't know is how to serve God and who He is. Because we go to church and say, well, you know, they'll tell you, well, you have to come to church in order to be saved and this and that and all this sort of nonsense, right? But they believe that, right? Believe that, right? They're bringing us out.
So this is Romans 11 and verse 1.
Read up a little.
It says, I say then, had God cast away his people, God forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Right, so tell you, I show you, right? So there's the Bible here, right? Tell you, I say then, had God cast away his people, meaning had God do away with people? God forbid, meaning no, right? He didn't do away with people. What happens is that we sin against the Mosai, and the Mosai don't deal with sin. They come like this. You have a brother or a sister, them into crime, and you are about keeping the laws and doing things the right way. The two of you be around one another.
Sometimes, all the time.
So have a separation, right?
Yeah.
So what the Mosai do is separate itself from we because we only walking in sin. You don't want to change and follow what it is the Mosai say for we to do, right? Now when you watch society today, all the same people doing is the woman and them in some short piece of thing gyrating, you know, kind of defending all over the place, right? You will pick up a woman like that and say, this is your girl and you want to marry her, anything like that. Because you know later down the line, same way, you might not have nothing. A man who have a little more than you, she could be enticed by that. The same way she was intrigued by you and she will go with him, right? So that's not somebody you would want to be around, right? The same way, the most I know, we just be intrigued by sin. Anything we see and looking flashy or thing whatever it is, that is what people want to do, right? So you say the most I say then, had the Most High cast away his people, God forbid. For I also am an Israelite. That is who he is, right? Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God had not cast away his people which he foreknew. He knew them before he was placed on the earth. The Most High know, well, out of all the nations that people are going to create, this is the one that I want for myself. Come like this, right? Like all the wearing all the slippers, right? But you might have shoes home, like might have a nice pair of Jordan home, right? And say, you know what? See this Jordan will coming out next month. When I get that, I not putting it, which part I'm putting this on it. So by now and next month now, we'll have a special place for that because you're going on. That means what does go on that. But they don't could understand where I'm coming from, right? So we know how we like to look good. That is how the Israelites on them is, right? Come out of Israel and all to clinging and all to gold and this and that, right? So the Most High say you never cast away people, right? So which means they still exist today, right? So we don't see try to figure out what this nation of people or who is, right? Go to Jeremiah. See Jeremiah 35 and verse 7. Select it. Go to Ecclesiastes. Okay. Because what a lot of people does do is we want to say we serving God, but we still don't know who he is as a nation of people, right? And to serve the Most High, you have to know who he is and where you come from, right? You'll get old Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1 from now on, right? So again, they still believe we just black people, right? Still believe that, right?
Yeah.
But if it is you're cooking food, right, and the food burn, would you still eat that food? Why ain't gonna eat it? Because it's burn, right? So you just discard it, right? Throw it away, right? Right, so you see here that the Most High say he never do away with the people, right? Now we see here in Ecclesiastes 4 and verse 16, there is no end of all the people. So the Israelites that did exist back then, they exist today. But right now what the problem is, we have some people that in the land of Israel claiming to be the Israelites, right? But if you ask them one question, you could confound them with this one question, right? Now the Bible tells you there is 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, right? Now we know that whole group that's called itself Israeli, not Israelite. And Israelite is the true people of that land, right? If I say I am Israeli, that means I want to be like the Israelites, right? So if I say this, right? If I say let's call itself Israeli. If I say you are in Gilish, I put ish in anything. The song like that is not what it is.
Yeah, it's not quite
Looking,
that.
what it is?
It's not quite that.
Right, something like it, right? So if they call themselves Israeli and Jewish and all these sort of things, right? I can say I is a Jew, but then I telling people I Jewish. If I say you acting girl-ish, right? It is not a girl, but you're acting like a girl, right? You have a girlish mentality, a girlish behavior, right? So if I say you're acting boyish, I mean you're a full-grown man, but you're still acting like a boy, right? Nobody ain't going to take you serious, right? Because a child, people don't really pay much attention to a child unless they're doing something out of the way, right? If you bring a child here to play on the field and they're not in no form of danger, nothing like that, you ain't going to be every minute behind the child to see what they're doing, right? But they're not in danger, right? So when people acting like somebody else, that means they're not the original thing. Like if I bring our shoes for you and I get an original pair of Nike or original pair of Jordan, then I bring something that looking you like it original. Which one you go choose? Original, right? Because that is the real thing that you want, right? Not something bootleg. By the time you put it on and go down the road with it, the girl, the whole back of your heel, you're clapping and then she know well, girl. You understand? Yeah. So there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been. So the ones that was before we, they're still here on the face of the earth right now, right? Because there's something called regeneration in the Bible and all, right? Before them, they also that came after shall not rejoice, right? So the point is that There is no end to all the people, right? So you bring that out from it.
These two trying me one-on-one.
Read a little louder.
So it says, these be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel on the side of Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel and Laban and
Right, so
Hazeroth.
the point about it is that Moses speaking to all Israel. Moses talking to the Israelites in the book of Deuteronomy, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to see, now it's our curses in the book of Deuteronomy 28 that the Israelites and them will be going through. So we're going to see if we people fit in them curses, or if any other nation of people, if all they realize the Chinese, well, they might, when you read it, you might say, nah, that's not we people, but that's Chinese people, but that's Indian people, or that's white people. Or they just tell me what type of people it's sounding like that going through the curses in the Bible, right? But this is the Israelites going to be going through it, right? So this is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, meaning commandments, meaning whatever the Most High say for we to do, you have to do that. Right? Now we see in verse 1, it says, if we keep the commandments, we are above the other nations of people, right? How they would say we people living? We are above everybody else, or the other nations of people are above we and we under them? Who are the best paying jobs? Who is the doctors, lawyers, all these kind of different things in the country? We people. You see the Indians and them holding that position, right? More doctors, more high paying job, their own business, their own different thing, right?
Right. What's your car right here? Driving that.
Who driving this fancy car you see here right here? And what it is we see me people drive? A Tida, a Yidwagan, and
Joplo, eh?
What do you think? You driving on these bigger vehicles and you driving all kind of things to really move. You understand? You're doing patching and fixing every week, right? So we are above them, or we are not them. Right? We jump down to we go to verse 69. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. How we live in any city and thing we go to? We people live in it. You take communities and them, or we live in more like in the ghettos? Which one?
More in the ghettos.
Right, so this talking about the Israelites could be cursed in the city and in the field, meaning the jobs what we have, right? CPEP, we are seeing most in CPEP and all them sort of low paying jobs. Black people, right? You're not afraid to talk, no brother. They're amongst family, you understand? Cursed shall thou be thy basket and thy store, meaning we had here anything to eat and to provide even for return, right? Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. Meaning you're trying now coming out and you want to that nonsense, you're trying on gang foolishness, right? When you want to be in a gang, whether somebody might rob them, kill them, do them something, rape, kidnap. You know how it's going with people right now, right? You know what your crime rate is who you're seeing down. Right? So you're training that we have actors on we people, right? So we go down to verse 35. That's from Granula this time. So he said, the Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs, and with a sore touch that cannot be healed, from the sole of the feet unto the top of the head. So you see people with a set of new problems, a set of some people lost in here, all them kind of different thing, right? All these cases. Alright, see the women, the Israelite women, that's how I want the head, weave and all them sort of nonsense, right? Right. The Lord shall bring thee and thy kings, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. Right, so the Most High telling you that he will bring you down to nothing. right? And these nations going on rule over we, and they're going on have we serving their God. Like what they say, what religion they say is when they come up, Christianity, Christian or something, Christian, right? Right, so now we thinking to be a Christian, we want to be a Muslim. That's why we talk about wood and stone. When you go in these churches, you see a wood cross, right? When you go to Mecca, which where the Muslim and them is, you see a big cover stone. All of them walk around it and kissing the stone, right? So we don't answer to follow religion instead of following God, right? When you go to 43, it's showing you the strangers that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. Paying attention, right? So tell me the strangers, people who is not Israelites, will not control everything. Them going to be above the Israelites and them now. The Israelites was above everybody now. Them will be above we, right? Above the Israelites, right? The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. How we people living right now? When we had their anything, struggling with parents, and they have enough to really maintain and all these things, right? But you see the Indians and them going UV, they're going all these kind of things, they have the highest paying jobs. So who does talk since we reading? Who does fit in so far? The other nations of people or what type of people? That's right. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Right, so meaning when we're going for a loan, we have to go and borrow it from them, right? But we people don't have enough to give them a loan, right? He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Right, so these people ruling over we, and we can't even lend them nothing, right? Because we don't have nothing to lend somebody what we don't have, right? And this is why we till not one we don't know. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. How we living towards one another, right? Because if I see you going down the road, it's like how that fella watching all they just now, all they realize you're not happy just now. It is not happy just now. Watching you like you want to come and do all or something, eh? That's why when he realized how I watch him, he started to walk and go the next direction, right? And that is we own people, right? So you see, why is I reading this? It's not happening already, right? So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother. All are we come like brothers. So we come from one nation of people, right? And towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children which he shall leave. So how we people live, and we does have a natural hatred. Like if I go down the road, I'll just use me for example. I see like a brother, when I watch, you know, you wearing a Jordan now, I start to screw up my face because why? He has something better than me. Not knowing an Indian or a Chinese man will see a man having more than him, and he'll be glad for that person. Right? But with we people now, I want to take what you have because I find you shouldn't be looking that good. You shouldn't have what you have. I'm supposed to have it instead of you. That's why I have a hatred amongst you people, right? So that he will not give any of them, of his flesh, of his children, whom he shall eat, because he had nothing left in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemy shall be destroyed. Distress Salakia thee in all thy deeds. Right? So we going to have a hatred towards people and more love the other nations and them. Treat them with kindness and treat them with, you know, how we're supposed to treat one another. Right? We go down to verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee. Right? So this is what the Mosai did to the nation of Israel. It's not these people and them had some power and, you know, them more stronger than we, because check it out like this. Who's the fastest runner in the world? Usain Bolt. What type of people he is? One are we in? Who could do the best gymnastics? What is called this little girl again? Simone Blake, right? You see, first you know it, right? Best footballer is we people, right? Best cricketer is we people. Name a sport that we is not the best. Swimming. You feel them white boy and them can swim like you? Huh? Right, to show you the strongest man, best cricketer, golf. They create golf for who? Right, so a white man sport, right? Tiger Woods is who? A so-called black man, right? Who is the best in golf? Tiger Woods, and that's what them create for themselves. Gymnastics and all them things they wanted for themselves, right? We people dominating that. But we are special people. We not just like them other people and them. We different from them, right? They say, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. So the Messiah going to scatter we to slavery for not listening to him, right? So he break the law, statute, and commandments. So there 1 John 5 and 6. Right? And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou, which we nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So you see the same wood and stone here again, right? Being in the churches, we can answer the worship religion, call ourselves like Christian and things like all this, and all that come up, right? And stone, we in the same cover stone in Mecca, the Muslims and then praying to, right? So which all of them things is just a religion. That's not who he is, right? Tell me who went through this, right? And the Lord, this verse, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again, right? With ships, by the way whereof I speak unto thee. Who went through slavery on ships? Slave ships. We forefathers on them, right? And ships, by the way whereof I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, meaning slave man, and bondwomen, slave women. And no man shall buy you, right? So when I tell you that we will go back into Egypt, the first time we walk out of Egypt, right? So get the verse on Egypt for me, right? So the first time we walk out of Egypt, now this time I tell you that we will go into Egypt, but we go in by ships, right? Right, so this is what Egypt means in the Bible, right? It's Exodus 20 and verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So when they say, tell me how we went into Egypt, you can put me back into Egypt. It don't mean the physical land of Egypt. Egypt represents bondage. So when we was in Egypt under Pharaoh, the Israelites was in Egypt under Pharaoh. What there was in was lying and drinking and having a nice time, or what there was doing? Building things, right? So there was slaves, right? So that's what Deuteronomy 28 verse 68 showing you. That we're going to go back into slavery, but this time by slave ships, and we scattered throughout 4 corners of the earth. So far what we're reading right now, what type of people this talking about? What nation of people you feel this talking about that went through these things? Africa. So-called, he's not African. Yeah, the Bible dictionary this right? You have it? Not now. Let's show you that last point and then right? You will show me the point you was telling about this one out, right? So it show you that we people is the same people that we're reading about in the Bible. And it's the Israelites who went through this. So what type of people you see if we fit this description? What type of people you see? Israelites, right? What type of people you see? I was afraid to say that, right? Same way we will not no shame saying that we are a black man and you're not black. But feel proud to say we're nationality. Now that you do. So you say we are Africans, right? I want me to think that we are African people, but we look something like that, man. Have you ever seen why did they say, hey, look at African there, and they don't say, look at so-called Negro? So you know about Noah, right? In the Bible. You hear about Noah already, right? What Noah known for in the Bible?
Yeah.
Ark, right? With the flood and thing, right? Right, so this is Ham. Right, this is the Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary, right? So on page 13, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, right? Who known for what?
Yeah.
The Ark, right? Born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. So, right, so on the Ark it had only 8 people, right? That Noah and his wife. They had 3 sons, right? Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? And the 3 sons each had a wife each. So if you have your wife, he have a wife, this brother have a wife, how much people that would be?
6.
6, right? Plus Noah and his wife, right?
Yeah.
So it's 8 people on the 8 persons to live through the flood. That's why he's saying that, right? He became the progenitor. You know what progenitor mean? Like, yeah, the first, but also mean like from you, a lineage going on come out from you, right? Like you're going to have children, then you got grandchildren, you got great grand and thing going on, so a bloodline going on, right? He became the progenitor of the dark races, and we is dark skinned people, right?
Yeah.
So you say earlier on we as Negroes, right? It's you to say we as Negroes, right? Dark races, not the Negroes. It does call we Negro people, right? But the Egyptians, which is an African race, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. So that is, the African people are 4 different tribes, you could say, right? And we don't come from none of them at all. Right? Some of them would look like we people. But when you watch them, you will see the skin looking kind of dull, kind of way. You could know, well, that is African, right? The reason you could know is because Mosai create a separation between we and them. Just like when you're watching a Chinese man and you're watching a Japanese, they look something. When you're watching them on TV, they look the same. When you see them in reality, they will look the same. But it's not the same people, right? So you can't call a Chinese man a Japanese. Or look, we don't have some form of conflict, right? Right? Because them know, they don't agree, and they know that I didn't come from the Chinese, the Japanese, them know that. And Chinese know that they didn't come from Japanese, right? They see them warring today, they don't like one another, right? Just the same way we look, and some of them Africans look like we, but we're not the same people. Right? Because through these 8 people and them, that's where the whole world of everybody in the world come back from. Right? But we is not African people, and we have to stop calling ourselves Africans. We are cursed to call ourselves African. Because when you look up the name African, where it come from Leos Ethos Africanus, which is a white man that conquered our land and named it after himself. So we have to know what we call ourselves. But I show you when go wrong, a girl and tell when she asks you what your name is, they say, well, I'm a fool. Fool is my name, and you know, I really like it, but I don't want you feel no how my name is Fool, you know. So go and tell a girl that. Because it's ashamed to call yourself that, eh? It's the same way it's ashamed to call yourself a black man, a Negro, a nigger, all these sort of stupid names that is always called people. Right? Like how some of we just say these Americans and all them sort of dotishness. America, the name come from America Vespucci. Right? Another white man that named that place after himself. Right? So we have to know who he is and know that he's not nigger people. We is the Israelites are the Bible. Right? So that brothers and all the other go. So Shalom, right? That means peace in Hebrew, right?
Yeah.
Thanks.